But anyway, no, I did a live cassette, live at Midsummer. The Midsummer Festival is no more, but for many years was a great festival in Vermont. And I had a really nicely received performance there in '83, I guess. And then the Best of Dylan Zimmerman, which was a collection of songs like Cross-Eyed Lady of Long Island and Most Probably All Else Being Equal, more or less. Songs by Dylan Zimmerman, you know. Hey, Mr. Franks and Beans, man. And My Fried Brains Are Gonna Stall. And that was on cassette. And then The Voice of Bear, which is one I really loved as well. And then it was when I was deciding to give up music that I thought, I don't want these songs forgotten. They never made me rich and famous. They were never big hits, you know. But you know what? Some of them were good. And I was starting to forget them because I didn't have occasion to perform them all. And someone would ask for a song I had written, and I would realize I had actually forgotten the song existed. And I would remember parts of it, but not others. So I rented studio time, which is just before the technology evolved that anybody who wants can have in a closet. They can have on their desk at home. All the recording technology that you used to have in a $1 million studio. But anyway, I rented studio time. The guy was cheap. He was local. And first of all, digitalized everything I'd ever recorded. And then recorded everything I'd ever written that I had not previously recorded. So I'd not only have it all, but have it all in one format, in one place. And the intention was, there's a poem by Emily Dickinson where she describes after the death of someone you love, you put your heart in a box and tie it with ribbons and put it in the back shelf, the back of a high shelf. And I thought, that's what I'm doing with my musical career. It's over. It was great while it lasted. I'm not going to dwell on it, but I don't want it to die and vanish into nothing. So I'm going to pack it all up. I'll have it, and it will last. And maybe someday, I look at songs. I listen to records that a great uncle of mine, who was a math professor but dabbled in music, stuff he wrote in the 50s. It's terrible, but it's Uncle Joe, and it's part of my family. Someday my granddaughters will listen to their grandfather's songs, maybe hear something they like. But then what happened was I listened to this and I thought, God damn it, these are good songs. And the performances I did where I just wanted to get it down are the best performances I ever did in the recording studio, because I didn't care. And it's so I took chances on guitar that I would never dream of taking if I was expecting the...
Do you write your songs down when you're creating them?
Eventually.
Do you start with the story, or what's your songwriting process like?
That's a question a lot of songwriters say they don't like being asked, and I think it's an interesting question. The really good songs write themselves. I understand why the ancient Greeks, and for that matter the Shakers, believed that someone was giving them a song, and that they were just channeling a song. The really good ones work exactly like that. The song simply comes through you, and it's almost effortless. Although even they're usually not a whole song. A chorus, a theme, but the words come with the tune. They come together. The first time I ever do the words, I sing them. And then at a certain point, you got to sit down and finish it. Because, as I say, it doesn't all come. But I've already got the tune at that point. Then you fill in the blanks. Other times,
do you read music? Do you?
Barely. I do, but I read music the way a 7-year-old reads English. The way I can.
So to capture your song, once you have the lyrics and the melody, you wouldn't commit it to staff notation.
I used to. Now I just record it. I don't write much anymore, so that's the other thing. It's just I think songwriting may be a young man's art.
you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Either that or I've just gone dry. I've gotten lazy. My energy goes into other things.
Yeah.
I get much the same satisfaction out of a well-turned political speech. I really do, as I do out of a good song. But
Think there's any room to combine the two?
you know, there probably is, and I've probably missed a great opportunity. I have always tried to separate them.
Yeah.
In part because I don't want to be a novelty as a politician. What I'm referred to as the singing senator. I kind of, no.
Yeah.
I'm not the singing senator. I'm that really serious college professor senator, you know, who really knows a lot more about government than a lot of my colleagues. No, it's the singing senator. But the fact is, people like the singing senator. I've probably made a mistake by not just accepting that. I've looked a gift horse.
Embracing it.
Yeah, I should have embraced it. But anyway, there are times when I write the melody and then write the words. Time I've written the words and then write the melody. But it's not even that clear a separation. If let's say I get the words first, then I write a melody for those words that I've written. Then I got to write more words to that melody, and the other way as well.
What do you think are the biggest issues facing Vermont in your time in office right now?
Dean Davis was the Republican governor of Vermont back in the 60s who said the great tragedy of Vermont is that our beauty is a function of our poverty. To a certain extent, this place, the physical place, has been left unspoiled because no one had an economic incentive to spoil it. We have green space instead of excessive development because it would not have been profitable to develop. And that has certainly some very good sides to it, but it also carries with it the fact of poverty. The fact that my grandfather, for example, was born and raised in Vermont and left because he had to go away to make a living. And that continues to this day. So how do you make it a livable place without trashing it? It's the same problem they have in Ireland. You know, there are a lot of beautiful places. When I was in Ireland,
are there incentives for business here, or do you think that's the?
See, I'm one of those environmentalists. My view is that the main incentive for business is, Mr. Businessman, this is a place you want to live. This is a place you want to raise your kids. And that was actually, again, that was Snelling, Governor Snelling. Every ski resort and every ski hotel in Vermont at one time had pamphlets that said IBM skis Vermont. Because the reason IBM is in Vermont is that IBM executives skied here. No, if we got to locate a new facility, you know, Essex, Vermont, you know, we live in Vermont, you know. So that's, of course, you know, we face the right now we're facing the problems that the world is facing. The global warming is, you know, this is no small thing. This is not a matter of preference. You know, like, well, some people don't like global warming. Some people do. No one likes what this is going to do, what it's doing. And my view is that the time is long past. We got to stop being polite to the deniers. I mean, they waste too much time. How many times do you have to prove that 2 and 2 makes 4? I mean, the scientific debate on global warming is over. There is a debate between science on the one hand and oil company propaganda and right-wing ideology on the other. And there are some scientists who dissent from the informed scientific consensus. But the fact that there are dissenters, then they have to then start publishing in peer-reviewed journals and persuade the scientific community. Right now, the scientific community is persuaded based on the scientific process. And I, as a politician, really do not choose any longer to indulge the deniers. My view is I'm patronizing them. It's a fraudulent politeness, well,